Hello, I'm Blackberry and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing an Amethyst analysis video while also drawing her out. In the beginning segment, my markers were acting a bit choppy, so I'm sorry with the way that they come out, and then in some parts of it I accidentally skipped a bit of it, so I'm sorry about that. But let's get on to the video, shall we? I thought it would be a great video idea to analyze the character Amethyst because in my personal opinion, she is one of the best, most well-rounded crystal gems other than Peridot, of course. I am not here to discuss the show or Rebecca Sugar. I can do that if you want me to, but obviously in a later video. In my opinion, Amethyst is a well-rounded character with flaws and insecurities, which I will be discussing in this video. Start from the jump, only for season 1 of course. To understand Amethyst, when you first meet her, you can tell she is a rule breaker, someone fun to hang around with and someone who doesn't like authority, but with deep insecurity. In the episode Giant Woman, in the beginning scene, Amethyst and Pearl are arguing about why they can't form Opal. If you watch Steven Universe and rewatch it through, you can understand Amethyst is insecure about Pearl. Pearl make rude comments towards Amethyst by saying she doesn't want to go with grammatically incorrect people anyway, but it is Amethyst's fault. She opened those cans of worms. 9 out of 10, she probably would eat the can, and I'm just saying. She can be a bit childish at times, but when it comes to serious situations, she's there to fight. I would have loved to break down and discuss the fusion Sugalite, but we don't even know much about her even at the end of the episode. We know nothing about Sugalite. At the end of the entire show, I still don't even know what to even think about Sugalite other than she being aggressive. And it's just that the only thing that we know is just her and Garnet together are unstable, which kind of side-eye worthy, but not something I'm willing to get into right now. It doesn't seem like Amethyst really cares or even takes seriously when she's been hurt, emotionally or physically. She is prone to shut off her emotions or block people out, or even sometimes take offense to it. One of the things you could say is that she's very human-like when she teases and laughs at Steven when she's doing risky things. If you look at a video on YouTube where they rewind what she's saying backwards, well, forwards again, that's what I meant to say, it shows more how she doesn't really care about herself, even if she's close to death. She is known for making fun of herself on multiple occasions. Talking down on yourself, or self-deprecation, is I think the right term to use. Some, not all. Also taking anything, even injuries, not seriously in a way, shows how insecure or how you don't really care about yourself. For a gem like Amethyst, it really shows, and in my opinion, it shows a lot more depth a character have if you have her more human-like, or have us be able to connect to her in a type of way. If you want to have people or your audience to form any connection or empathize with your characters, I think making them more human-like or humanizing them in a way is the best thing that you can do. Even technically, she's not a human, she's a gem, but that's besides the point. Which is why I personally ken this character so much. She reminds me of myself, the self-deprecation jokes, not taking injury seriously, or anything bad that happens to me, even if it emotionally scars me seriously. It makes me, in my opinion, has such a very deep and personal connection with Amethyst. The song On the Run, hearing Amethyst's lyrics of the song shows how much she cares and values what people think of her, even if she wants you to think that she doesn't, even though she do. And even at home, how she doesn't feel like it's home to her. If you understand what I'm getting here, in the scene where she's talking about the bad things or the bad place, basically discussing about the kindergarten, I kind of get upset. about that she's basically trauma dumping on Steven, but that's my opinion on that situation. But someone who has insecurities or who has dealt with people with insecurities, in a way, I understand. She shouldn't still do it, and I do not condone people that do that. Even if I learned my lesson from it, I still, in a way, sympathize and see what Amethyst is coming from. I personally see Amethyst's relationship with Steven as her being like an older sister instead of a guardian or like a mother figure, but that's just me. One of my small rants with Rebecca Sugar right here is in the show, one of the things that I don't really like that Rebecca Sugar handle with Steven and his guardians is having his parents, quote unquote, fight in front of him. I'm not surprised Steven turned out the way that he did in the future. Look at his terrible excuses for a guardian or good adults. But that's just me. I understand that she feels less than the other gems, but fighting in front of Steven is not the right method to go about it. Besides that, you could really tell how insecure she was in the scene when she was saying, "I'm not gonna let you stand here and remind me of everything that I hate about myself." Also, when she says, "I never asked for it to be this way, I never asked to be made," which shows, compared to the other gems, how more human and human-like she is. There are a few flaws in a way that this was handled, but from a person who has their own who has or had experienced how amethysts feel, in my opinion, it was handled pretty okay. Not perfectly, but okay. The talk with Pearl after the way she made Amethyst feel and stuff like that, she learns that even when it comes to her coming from a bad place or things, that is not what defines her. She's still a good gem, even if she came from a bad background. Again, the kindergarten. I feel like people who come from a bad background or a bad environment can sympathize with that part of Amethyst. In the episode Reformed, Steven asks her some questions, and the way she answers, you can tell she's very defensive of these type of questions. She is someone who is not the type to open up about her emotions or even show that she has a small soft spot. When she gets poofed and reformed back, these forms are to either make her look or be stronger or damage her original form or to mock Pearl. I take what she's doing in a way, a gem way of not taking care of herself or not properly showing or stating how she feels. She takes everything Garnet says in said episode to heart with every reform that she takes. To humanize what she is doing, think about when your garden continues to degrade you on everything that you do, even though you're trying your best. And you try to change yourself, even though you're basically losing your original self or who you were beforehand. In a way, that is what Amethyst is doing to herself. Even though I don't think it's the best method, it's still a way to understand what she is doing. When you, as a human, continue to try and change yourself, it can cause mental and physical distress. And with Amethyst, it shows it in a physical form. Maybe Garnet shouldn't criticize her so much, but Amethyst was acting pretty childish throughout the episode, so I get it. Maybe knowing how Amethyst reacts to criticism is what she should have thought before doing or dishing it out. But hey, she's not a mind reader, so Amethyst should have stated that Garnet was kind of hurting her feelings in that way. But Amethyst doesn't know how or to have her own opinions Overall, I think Amethyst is a well-rounded character, a human-like person or gem with flaws and insecurities. She gains more respect as the show proceeds compared to the other crystal gems, and she has more depth and more, how do I put this in a good way, pride and confidence within herself in Steven Future. I think she's a pretty okay guardian to Steven compared to Pearl or Garnet or stuff like that. I don't really have much to say right now, so just sit back and enjoy the drawing and enjoy the music as well. After finishing all the highlights, I kind of like the way it kind of turns out, but get ready for the reveal. I think this came out very pretty. Usually I do one page, but for me to do an entire sketchbook spread, it took me a bit of time. But honestly, for Amethyst, it's worth it. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you like, subscribe, comment down below to see what you want me to do in the future, and have a lovely day filled with dozens of berries.